Heroes, they say, appear most clearly when things are at their darkest. They approach great unknowns with openness and tend to put the common good ahead of their own. They're fundamentally noble, decisive, and expansive in their capacity to save others. Trucking is an industry full of heroes. But even for an industry used to working through natural disasters and other challenges, 2020 has been no ordinary year. When the pandemic hit in early spring, the nation felt its wrath. Store shelves sat empty. Basic necessities became hard to find. Friends and neighbors sheltered in their homes. Their front porches became deserted. Hauling necessary life-saving products into places most affected by the virus, finding innovative ways to engage with others, provide food, stock shelves, distribute supplies, and allay fears, the men and women of trucking found ways to contribute and to make things better. Their work by now is well known. Pause long enough and you might hear songs of thanks ringing above whirring engines and see waves from the sides of roads. Truckers are America's frontline heroes. We honor all of those drivers, dispatchers, and warehouse workers who simply did what it took to keep things moving during the pandemic. But today we also realize that a few of these heroes have risen higher and fought harder than all of the others. Their acts were not just selfless and brave in that natural trucking way. Their acts fundamentally transformed the communities surrounding them. Today, along with our partners at True North, Transport Topics honors 3 people who drew on personal resources, reserves, and stores of experience to do great things in a very dark time. Before we tell their stories, let's take a moment to hear from our partners at True North.
Hello, my name is Trent Tillman. I have the great pleasure of leading the Transportation Division here at True North. As we all know, 2020 has been a very challenging year. Yet thanks to the resiliency of our nation's transportation companies and their dedicated people, our nation's economy has remained moving in spite of a pandemic. It is now, hopefully, on a path to recovery. Hero status has been earned for this industry. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you the Transport Topics Heroes Edition, featuring heroes from across our industry. Join us as we honor 3 heroes who exemplify going above and beyond any job description to ensure our country moves forward. Thank you for attending virtually today and honoring these individuals. Our sincerest congratulations go out to these trucking heroes. Thank you for all you do.
Reggie Barrows is a people person. So much so, some in his town of Falmouth, Massachusetts call him Mayor. He has a way with his neighbors, understands them, sees them. Wherever the 29-year veteran driver goes with his FedEx truck, honks and waves follow. When news of the pandemic hit the streets of Falmouth, residents there, like residents of so many American towns, sheltered in place. Barrows continued to deliver packages, but found the atmosphere changed. His neighbors tucked behind their doors, afraid. Barrows smiled anyway. Smiles so powerful, they caught the attention of a local photographer whose shutter was working to capture community images for charity. Barrows posed, his smiling visage giving neighbors a sense of normalcy. Knowing the photos would allow the community to see itself again, Barrows would encourage others to pose and to donate. He used his local notoriety as a megaphone to help drum up support. The Barrows effect worked. 245 more families posed. The collection raised $30,000 in donations to supply food, clothing, and jobs to those in need. Today, we honor Reggie Barrows because he found a way to reunite his broken community. His humble work ethic and his capacity to inspire others makes him a Transport Topics Trucking's Frontline Hero Award recipient. Charlton Paul Jr. believes in doing his part. Powered by a belief in good works, the 24-year UPS freight veteran from Chester, New York, has donated time to the United Way of Dutchess Orange region, built ramps and houses for people on fixed incomes, and even taken part in hurricane relief efforts. Wherever people are in need, Paul is there, ready to lend a hand. But even for this practiced volunteer, the early days of the pandemic presented challenges. Americans across the nation were without critical supplies. Committed to helping meet that national need, the dependable driver continued to traverse his route. Additionally, Paul heard a call for help closer to home. Chester, New York, like so many towns, needed personal protective equipment for its municipal workers. After speaking to the town's mayor, Paul used his connections at UPS to source the materials and then coordinated the delivery of 1,000 masks, 200 bottles of hand sanitizer, and 4,500 pairs of gloves to Chester. Today we honor Charlton Paul, who made it his mission to help and drew on personal connections to fill a civic need. His ability to make the vulnerable safer makes him a Transport Topics Trucking's Frontline Hero Award recipient. Rich Miller is a milk hauler who no longer delivers milk. A truck driver since 1988, his 4.5-year battle with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma has weakened him physically. Even so, Rich Miller still delivers hope. When the pandemic hit the dairy-centric communities of western Wisconsin, the demand for cheese and other dairy products dropped drastically. Without wholesale and retail business, creameries couldn't move their products. Farmers, unable to stop the flow, dumped their product. Wanting to find relief for his friends and neighbors, Miller hatched a plan to save his community by donating money to buy cheese curds from creameries and delivering it to local food pantries. And when he discovered the depth of the region's hunger, Miller, ever the problem solver, increased his program's range, boosted his personal donation to $5,000, and sought new donors. As Miller's story and his mission spread, donations poured in. The Cheese Curd Relief Program received over $60,000 in donations and moved over 28,000 pounds of cheese. None of his farmers dumped a drop of milk, and people in need found relief. Today we honor Rich Miller for endeavoring to give back to a community that always supported him, even when his own health lay in the balance. His boundless altruism makes him a Transport Topics Trucking's Frontline Hero Award recipient.